All right, so next we got to talk about all the different software that you're gonna, be interested in. You don't necessarily need any of it. You can write sheet music out by hand, and I will teach you how to do that in this course. But however you're already doing it, I recommend you keep doing it and get more proficient at it. So eventually, you're gonna write these horn lines, and maybe you write it in MIDI in your DAW, and you got to export it out and send it to musicians to actually record. Well, most DAWs come with like a sheet music mode, right? And I'm sure some of you have seen that stuff. I can tell you right now, if you hand that sheet music to a musician, they're gonna basically want to murder you. Okay, they usually don't go into the right key. Like a trumpet doesn't read in the key of C, so they're having to do all of these like crazy things to just get what you're trying to tell them out of their instruments. It's really awful. So you're going to want to check out some notation software if you don't want to do it by hand or anything like that. There's free stuff out there, but here are all of the options. I use Finale. That was the one that I learned on. There's Dorico, which is kind of the new industry standard. There's Sibelius, which used to be the industry standard. And then there's some free ones like MuseScore and Noteflight. Okay, so I'll link all those below here, but you want to come up with some sort of notation software so you can export your MIDI if you're doing it in a DAW to your notation software. If you want to go the other way, for whatever reason, if you're a musician going to a producer and you want to send them MIDI stuff, you can export MIDI from the notation software. After you write your sheet music, you can export it as MIDI to something like, well, I use Ableton Live. That's what we'll be using in this course. You could do Pro Tools or Logic, whatever, the digital audio workstation you want to use is. Totally cool. For transcribing, I believe there's a 30-day free trial on this software. It's just called Transcribe by Seventh String is the company. And it allows you to do all sorts of stuff to, an audio clip. You can slow it down without changing the pitch. You can loop little sections of it. You can, pull out different parts of the EQ so you can only focus on like the low frequencies if you're trying to transcribe a bass line. It's really, really helpful. I use it all the time in my transcriptions when I'm trying to analyze some sort of music and figure out what notes are being played or, manipulate audio in any way. Transcribe is really, really cool. I think that's all the software that we're going to be dealing with. So it's your digital audio workstation stuff. So that's your Ableton, your Pro Tools, your Logic, if you're working with MIDI. And then if you want to export to notation software, that's your, Dorico, Sibelius, Finale, MuseScore, or Noteflight. Okay, MuseScore and Noteflight being the free versions, I believe. And then if you're working with the audio, then that's something like Transcribe by Seventh String. So all the different software that you're going to want to be, a little bit competent with, especially the notation stuff if you're going to want to end up sending sheet music to your musicians, but not too much. If you've got a DAW, you got some notation software, and if you want to do any transcribing, just three pieces of software, not too bad.